that it has upside down crosses on it.
What? Wait a second. There they are. I see them. I can see them. Can you all see them? They're upside down. They're right there. If there were only like a really easily Googleable explanation for this sort of thing. What's the guy that started the church? What was his name? He was like Peter or something, right? His name's Peter. Yeah. What's his symbol again? He's got a symbol, right? That he does have a symbol. That's his symbol, man. Like, just my goodness. He was crucified upside down. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't care about reality. They're just looking for anything to freak them out, something to freak themselves out with. Yeah, this is just a normal Catholic symbol that I thought everybody knew, but I guess not. Anyway, but this guy that doesn't understand like what the symbol of Peter is or whatever, or the cross of Peter, he is also saying he knows who the Antichrist is. And it's not just this guy. There's a slinging stone dude, whatever. It's not just him. It's like a bunch of other Fundie tubers. So we're all going to check it out. We're going to check out all those and see what's going on. I'm Brantley. This is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So like I said, Slinging Stone, he's this conspiracy dude. I don't know. He's really dumb. He finds all of the most obviously insignificant videos on the internet and then makes something out of them. He's one of the types that like he believes the same kind of stuff that I used to believe, that was like the end times are happening. They're happening right now. You can't see it because it's all happening in secret, which yeah, I mean, that's the best. That's what they kind of have to do if you're expecting end times prophecies to be fulfilled in the current day and age. It's going to be nothing's happening, right? So they have to just make it up. They got to go, well, this could possibly be the thing that's kind of like that if you think about it. That's all they got. Let's check it out.
And mysterious things continue to happen around the world. Looks to be a portal opening up over Europe. This man.
A portal. Looks to be just a portal opening up over the continent of Europe. There we go.
And claiming he is the Mahdi and the representation, the second coming of Christ on the earth. Really strange things with some of the evil forces that are involved in the governments around the world, including some of their silent.
What was that? Okay, I guess we're going to get into what each of these are.
Weapons that we are seeing on display more and more, and even talked about in congressional hearings. All of this documenting the physical wars taking place on the earth.
That doesn't mean anything. Do you know how stupid the shit is they talk about in congressional hearings? Like, have you met the people that are in Congress, first of all? So the stuff they say doesn't matter. Who cares? They say a lot of the dumbest shit comes from those hearings.
Which really have a spiritual root to them all. We'll start this off with a few very odd videos coming out from different sources around the Vatican. The first clip from Pope Francis's funeral, where we see behind what I'm assuming is the altar and two of the doors that lead into that area. Very oddly, you can see that it has upside down crosses on it.
Here they are. Yeah, it's just the cross of Peter. I know I did this one first, but I just thought that was so funny that he didn't know what the cross of Peter is. It's kind of funny because he's not Catholic. That's what it is. If you're not Catholic, you don't know. You know, I didn't know that for the longest time. I remember I had to look that up. I'm like, oh no, that is just a normal thing. Because like there were people. Because I think I can't remember what it was like choking victim. I had like a choking victim shirt on or something. I can't remember. I put up some kind of symbol. I had like a choking victim thing. And somebody was like, had responded to it, and they were like, "Oh, so you don't know that because choking victims are like a Satanist man, and so they have a bunch of upside down crosses on a lot of their albums and stuff." Anyway, and all these like Catholics like, that's just the cross of Peter, idiot. You Satanists are so stupid. That's just a Catholic symbol. And so yeah, and I was like, no, it's not. And I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, it is. Never mind. They were right. They were right about that actually. But but you can see why Satanists would adopt it. It makes good sense, but it is just a Catholic symbol. Got them using it. Boom, 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 boom. So creepy. What's now creepy that is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, they don't have to add any music to these cathedrals to make them creepy. It is a Catholic cathedral after all. They have an entire genre of horror, like built up after them. Yeah, no, we get it.
Multiple sources for years have stated that there's been a battle between good and evil within the hierarchy of the Vatican and the Catholic Church. Malachi Martin.
What? Hold on. There's been a, hold on, it said multiple sources. I was going to follow what it said. It said like multiple sources from inside the Vatican said that there's been a battle in the hierarchy of good and evil. Jeez Louise. Okay, sure, man. No, yeah, I get that. So, like, what? There's a bunch of people saying that they should have gotten the position of power, and so the people that did get it were evil. I don't know. Like, what does he mean by any of that? Like, yeah, everybody's always going to say, especially in the Vatican, of course, they're always going to be talking about some kind of battle between good and evil. They're the Vatican, man.
Years have stated that there's been a battle between good and evil within the hierarchy of the Vatican and the Catholic Church. Malachi Martin exposed some of this, and the circumstances around his death were pretty strange. All of his documents and material were taken from his house. That's no coincidence. Glenn Beck also
Glenn Beck. Are you sick? Come on. They just, all credibility's gone now. This and Glenn Beck shit. Now, don't listen to anything he said now. But like the Vatican, what, like hiding a bunch of information. What? I can't believe they would do that. That's not, no, not the Vatican. They are very transparent with all of their stuff.
Also stated that he experienced this battle between good and evil during his time visiting the Vatican.
At the Vatican, I saw it. We were supposed to meet with the Pope, and I went and I met with several
Mr. Bean Pope. That's I don't know his name, but it's, you know, it looks like Mr. Bean.
Cardinals, I think the good cardinals. And I saw stuff that I had never seen before.
Good cardinals?
That night, we were with, I don't even remember who they were, but they were the most Christ-like, cardinals and preachers or whatever they were. You could tell everybody's guard in that group, everybody's guard was up. And all of a sudden, and I'm not kidding you, the room dropped 10 degrees. And I happened to be looking at the door way across this huge room. And here comes this guy. So he was the main.
This guy. Whoa, there he is. There's the guy. Scary guy, too. I can tell by the music. The music seems to think this guy's pretty terrifying.
Guy that, you had to get by if you were going to get to the Pope. And I said, holy cow.
He's like a bodyguard. He's like that big guy that Jack Reacher has to fight before he gets to like the not so big bad guy that's just like the boss. You know what I mean? But he's got like the guy that's ultra too big, because Jack Reacher's huge already, and so they have to have like an extra huge like guy. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Happens every book.
Who is that guy? And the whole group of really nice guys turned around and looked at him, and one of them turned back and went, "Oh, you can feel that?" And I said, "Oh." Yeah, and they were like,
"Oh, you can feel that? You can feel the magical thing of the what?"
Oh, good sense on you. Oh no, he's leading the opposition. So he's the guy, I think, that was helping thwart Benedict.
The lines, but
what the? I think we needed some more context there, buddy. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? But okay, it felt like it was a ghost story, right? It was something, and the room got very cold. Oh, okay, that's impossible. That never happens in those old cathedrals. That's just crazy. What?
Between the physical and spiritual wars and realms are merging more and more. In my opinion, one of the most obvious areas we're seeing this is with UFO disclosure. Once again, the Vatican is brought right into the center of this topic, which would make sense if both the Vatican and alien disclosure play into the end times deceptions coming upon the earth that I believe multiple Bible prophecies allude to.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise. Did you catch all that, y'all? Okay, so the the UFOs, let's summarize here. The UFO sightings or disclosures, I guess they're saying, has some kind of connection to the Vatican. Who knows like what the connection is, but and that's because the end times are happening and the Bible prophecies are coming true. UFO, I have no idea what's happening.
A while back, News Nation reported a claim from a Pentagon whistleblower that back during World War II, Pope Pius XII tipped off the U.S. government about the recovery of a partially intact UFO that Benito Mussolini's Italian government had discovered. So will the new Pope open the vault and share the secrets below the Vatican?
What?
Strange thing.
What? Hold on. What? And first of all, what News Nation? What is the secrets of the Vatican? Like, what news stations are just sitting here talking about UFOs and stuff? Hold on.
Coming upon the earth that I believe multiple Bible prophecies allude to.
Of course.
A while back, News Nation reported a claim from a Pentagon whistleblower that back during World War II, Pope Pius XII tipped off the U.S. government about the recovery of a partially intact UFO that Benito Mussolini's Italian government had discovered. So will the new Pope open the vault?
So back in World War II, they found some kind of unidentified flying object. Is that what it is? Okay. And they put it in a vault. And it's very secretive, but the Vatican has access to this information. Okay.
And share the secrets below the Vatican?
Strange.
I mean, who would have thought? Like, I mean, it feels like this is, you know what this feels like? You know how Indiana Jones, like 4, just like went completely off the rails. This feels like it's Da Vinci Code Part 5 or something. Like, and now aliens. That's right. Yeah. Now whatever that, the symbology guy, he's got to follow the symbols to the aliens. That's right. Figuring this stuff out. Geez. How's everybody doing? Everybody feeling all right? Let's see here. Who won today? We got, I know I was a little late getting started today. JIL, what's up, dude? So, I wonder who it's going to be. Place your bets. That's not Obama. I know what you're thinking. I can tell already. And nope, not Obama. I know. I was disappointed too. I seriously thought that was going to be talking. It's not because they hate that guy. Everybody hates that guy. I mean, it's because he sucks. So anyway, let's see who was second. Pragmatic Crystal, what's up? How we doing? Hell yeah. And who was third? Let me see here. Paul. Paul the potato. Potato Paul. That's what I would say. Hey, oi, double speed to catch up. Okay, do whatever you got to do. That's got to sound insane. Me going double speed, I don't even want to know. I feel like that would hurt my head. Jeez Louise. All right, here we go.
Things are happening in the skies, and it's not just the orbs or the UFOs and UAPs that people are seeing. Recently, what looked to be a portal was recorded over the skies in Europe.
A moving portal like that. So it looks to be a portal. Okay.
Mysterious blue spiral spotted over European skies. What was it? Of course, mainstream news sources.
What was it? It's like, I don't know, man. What is it?
Came out instantly and said that this was from some sort of rocket.
Okay, there we go. This came out and said it was from a rocket.
A glowing spiral.
You know, rockets are real, right? You know, so like, what is? Let's see. Let's weigh what the likelihood of this thing, like being a portal, is. Let's see. Do we have evidence that portals exist at all? No, none of that. No. Do we have evidence of rockets existing at all? We do. So it's already just 1-0 over here.
Which was visible over the night sky in Europe is believed to have been caused by a SpaceX rocket. The cloud-like shape was visible for several minutes, confusing many who...
Oh, and it's the SpaceX one too. So just, no concern of just putting a bunch of crap in the atmosphere. A bunch of falling debris that could land on people's faces or whatever. Now, yeah, all this is still tracking pretty hard with the SpaceX, Elon Musk, all that type of stuff.
Posted photographs to social media.
Rockets are filmed all the time, especially as SpaceX has been sending up many more rockets recently. And as we can see, these rockets don't look anything like the video that we saw coming out of Europe. That spiral.
Wait, was that the same thing? Hold on, because you're looking at it from two different angles, dude. Like if you, I don't know what this would look like if you were looking at it dead on, like, you know what I mean? We're watching it go to the side. We're watching a side scroller, you know, video game versus like being behind the character, you know, like going from Mario, from Mario side scroller thing to like Mario 64 or whatever, like watching him from behind. Like it's gonna look different, dude. Like what do you mean?
Many more rockets recently. And as we can see, these rockets don't look anything like the video that we saw coming out
You can
of Europe.
see what the are you kidding me? We can see the thing. You can see it like going, and then it but he's like pausing it on this like weird thing right here, because that is like an odd shape or whatever. But clearly it's like the smoke like swirling or whatever, you know, because of just all the velocity. I don't know the I don't know the sciencey words. Okay, and I'm sure like, you know, Eric Peterson can explain this better than I could or something. But like, it's not a portal, man. Like, dude, why would a portal start as a rocket? That's what I don't know. Like, why would the portal start as this little light that goes boop and then turns into this swirly cloud thing? What? Why would the portal do that? Anyway,
that spiral honestly resembles a lot more the Norway spiral that happened back in 2009. And of course, the explanation for this phenomenon was a failed Russian rocket test. But as we'll look more into,
what the hold on. And so it like kept swirling out like that. That's interesting. I don't know.
Towards the end of this video, there are weapon systems that are hard to even fathom. Now back on the Earth again, there is a growing phenomenon.
Hold on. What the hell was that having to do with it? I thought it was a portal, and now he's saying there's a weapon. So which is it? Is it a weapon? Is it a portal weapon or some kind? What, you zap them into a different dimension or what?
On which the Bible predicted, and it's happening more and more. People claiming they are the Christ or the coming enlightened one of a different religion that is here to lead the earth into the next spiritual revelation.
Okay, yeah, of course. Got a lot of these people. Baba, what's going on, dude? How we doing? And look at the trees. What's up? Hell yeah. Who else is here? Good. Maya, what's up? Hell yeah. Maya's got a show tonight. For sure, Bad Side Sunday. Gotta check it out. What else we got? Oh, Burns, what's up, dude? Everybody, there we go. All right, cool. And Kari. Hey, Kari, how's it going?
Someone gaining more attention in this regard is Abdullah Hashem, who is a religious leader, the founder of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. He states that he is the coming Mahdi, who is practically Islam's savior that they're expecting to come and further Islam across the entire earth. But he also says that he is the prophesied saviors or coming ones from practically every religion across the earth. And surprisingly enough, he actually has quite a few people following him and believing this.
I am Abdullah, the successor of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, the successor of the Comforter Ahmed, the successor of Simon Peter, the successor of Muhammad, the successor of Jesus Christ.
Whoa, it's the successor of Jesus Christ. Wow. The successor of Jesus Christ is Muslim? I feel like this doesn't really make sense. I feel like this guy's he's throwing everything at the wall. He's like, I am the cult leader of all cult leaders. That's right, I am.
I am the true and legitimate Pope. I am the proof upon the Christians. I am the son of the Muslims through my father, and the son of the Christians and the Jews through my mother.
I'm all the religions. I'm all the religions. I'm every religion's Pope or whatever, and Jesus, and
I am the son of the East through my father, and the son of the West through my mother. I am like Zulkarnain, who with one horn in the East and one in the West, and I am the inheritor of all that lies between.
His music is just jarring. It's like they are terrified of this person who seems just not too scary. If you remove all the music, he's just like, I am totally of the main man of all the religions.
I am more knowledgeable than any false pope, and I am appointed by name and the will of the prophets. My name is also on the tongue of Isaiah, who prophesied of the righteous servant, and he said, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand.
Now, this guy has apparently healed at least one person. We'll watch that in this next video.
Oh, they got it on tape. They caught the healing on tape. Well, that's good. That's fortunate. I'm glad they did that. When Spank said, "What's up, Spank? How you doing, Spank?" That's gonna be. I'm gonna have to. All right, Flaps. Flaps is not much better. I don't know why. I felt like that was gonna fix it if I called you Flaps instead of Spank, and it's just nothing. It's all anyway. The original context meant there were more than one Antichrist. This is why the Sex Pistols lyric is "I am an Antichrist." That's right. Oh yeah, and that I am the Antichrist. That's funny because I always thought that was odd when they said that back in the day. Of course, like when I was listening to that song, I was sneaking it because I was like a little Christian punk, and I was like, oh, we're not allowed to listen to this song. You know, we can listen to Pretty Vacant. That one's okay. Not that one. Not the Anarchy in the UK. They say bad words. Antichrist. That was the bad word. But yeah, I always thought that was odd. But I always figured there was like a distinction between the Antichrist, you know, the one that's like in Revelation that takes over the world or whatever and makes a statue of himself and then breathes into the statue life, and then it comes to life and scares everybody, and then everybody has to worship him because he's got a big talking statue. But anyway, so, but yeah, I figured it just meant anybody that's against Christ, right? In that context, right?
This appears to be more of just something that was put out to try to give him credibility, which it's most likely absolutely false. But the Bible does predict there will.
Oh, it's most like, I love how much skepticism they have for everybody else's stuff. You know what I mean? There's like, oh, it's probably false to dude healing people and stuff. Like, why? Why do you think it's false? Guys, doesn't line up with my religion. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, you know, everything's true as long as it lines up with my beliefs, and it's false if it's anybody else's beliefs. Then it's not, you know, it's like, that's how that works. You know, I don't go by evidence. Evidence isn't the thing. I go by identity. Does it align with my identity? Then it's true.
Be false signs, wonders, and miracles in the last days. So we should be on alert for that. But in this case, I don't think that.
Mighty healed me. Well, wasn't there that other guy too? Or is this the same dude? That Forrest Valkai always talks about. You know what I'm talking about? It's like he healed a bunch of people, apparently like died and came back to life and stuff. He always uses them as like an example of like, hey, why don't you believe in that guy? Why don't you believe his magic? Why don't you believe he's God? And of course, you know, Chris like, that's different. That's different. Like, it's more modern. We got videos of him. We at least know he definitely existed. People say he came back to life. People say that he healed. Anyway, is that this guy? Is that the same? Anyway, I think that was an Indian person. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Where's the chat at? Let's see. Hey, Grand Theft Autobot, what's up, dude? Hold on, let me see. Andrew Zilla, what's going on? One whole person. I know. It's amazing. I have no idea what the context of that is, but
that's what's going on. It's more that this guy is just fulfilling the prophecy of the false Christ that will be coming towards the last days.
Of course. Yeah, you're right. Of course it's that.
She stopped responding. She couldn't talk or anything. Like, she was just there. Everything looked like it was shutting down. That's it. It was going downhill. They tried everything. For 4 days, they tried everything.
Well, they tried this always kills me when they do this. They tried everything, and then nothing worked. And then it worked. The magic. Then somebody put their hand on them. And then all this stuff, it couldn't be any of the stuff they tried. It's a new stuff, which was the magic from his hand, just worked. And it's like, but you just said they tried everything. They tried all this different stuff, and then they got better. But it was the person that was like, but I got my hand here now, though. Like, that's got to, that was the different factor right there. It wasn't working. Now it's working. Magic. Okay, what do you got?
And they could not stabilize her at all. Apostatic comes and placed his hand over her and healed her and made her stable. And that's it. Everything, her obs, her bloods, everything, without treatment. Even the...
You just said they tried everything. What do you mean without treatment? They did all the treatment.
Doctor said to me that we do not even need to do anything at this moment
because they already did everything,
because she's responding completely fine. So the next stage of the treatment,
next stage of the treatment, I thought you just said they didn't.
planet is going to go smoothly.
While this false teacher
Jesus
claims
Christ. It kills me. I know it's like this guy, dude's always trying to convince me of magic. And he's got, he's got stories, got a lot of stories, right? Of like the magic and everything. And he was out with somebody at a fair and they had what do you call it? Well, they didn't take, I guess they took too much of their insulin or their insulin kicked in too quick or whatever. They were type 1 diabetic and they fell out, right? Well, immediately everybody started, dumping Mountain Dew in their mouth because that's what you do when somebody's like passing out because they're like, oh, sugar. It's like Mountain Dew. Just where's the Mountain Dew? Does anybody have that? Usually that's somewhere at a fair or whatever. But start dumping that in their face. It's also in their mouth before that. Anyway, but and so they were sitting there on the ground, and then he said like they gave her food or whatever, put the little sugar pellets in her mouth and all that stuff, and then like a couple minutes later, some dude came up and started praying in tongues. And while he was praying in tongues, man, she snapped out of it. And he was like, magic, right? It was totally like, wait, what about all the sugar that they gave her, before? Like, you don't think that had anything to do with it? Well, but I mean, he spoke in tongues, prayed in tongues too, though. So, I mean, you don't think maybe that contributed? No, I don't think that contributed, dude. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You just said how she came back.
to be the coming Christ or the Mahdi. In reality, clearly he is more like the spirit of Antichrist. Something is coming out from a follower within the Catholic Church.
But you hear how they like bounce back and forth. They go from like, we tried everything to like, oh, they didn't do any treatments. Like, how could you have tried everything if there weren't any treatments? Like, how did she? It's crazy when they do it, but they're just trying to like, no, we definitely know it was the guy's hand or whatever. But it's like, you just said they tried everything. And one of the things they tried clearly worked. That's it. It just was like a, what do you call it? A post hoc ergo propter hoc kind of situation there. Where they're like, but it happened after his hand was there. So boom, caused it. And it's like, no, it's not how that works. Just because something happens in order doesn't mean it was caused by the thing.
Saying she's been given a revelation about the Antichrist and that his name is actually Alex.
Praise be Jesus Christ. Luz de Maria is a mystic many of you have heard of.
What's up, Jeffrey? How we doing, man? So I'm stopped playing Oblivion Remastered to watch for a few minutes. Well, I'm sorry to take you away from that. That sounds like much more fun. We're just talking about people that think they found the Antichrist, but they haven't. So I don't think it's true. I don't think they're right. But Flip Normal, what's up, dude? So I hope you're having a fine day. I am having a fine day. Oh, yeah. How about you? You having a fine day? What's up, Joseph? How are we doing? Some people are very stupid. Therefore, no God. Oh, okay. We got a troll. Nice. How's it going, dude? Appreciate you being here. You're going to make the chat very excited. They love it when y'all show up.
She's in Argentina. She has the stigmata. Some of her writings have an imprimatur from her bishop.
She's got the stigmata. You know what that means? Magical holes in her hands or something. Is that what that means? I always forget. There was a movie. It was pretty creepy, actually. Those Catholic horror movies are terrifying. I don't know.
Got a lot of apocalyptic messages for the world. And one of the things that was mentioned is she claims that the Antichrist is alive today. His name's Alex, and he goes by another name. I was talking to a priest friend who has followed Luz de Maria for a little while, and I asked him, like, what do you do with that? Okay, his name's Alex, the Antichrist. He goes by another name now.
I love his name's Alex. Might as well just been Kevin. It's like, my goodness. No, the Antichrist exists in his name. Drum roll, please. Alex. Yeah, I know it's not as cool as I was hoping it would be, like Damien or something kind of creepy, right? Maybe Thor. I don't know if anybody names their kid Thor, but I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of cool if the Antichrist was named Thor. I just think it would just give it kind of a pizzazz,
Keep in mind that through all the different periods of time, different revelations have been said to be given to people, and the Catholic Church acknowledges them as being true revelations.
Look at all these people. Not silly at all. Now, this is perfectly reasonable, rational stuff. Like, what is happening? Why do they do this to themselves? Like, because we all just decide that a magical thing is true. So much so that we dress like nutbags.
Revelations from God. And actually, I believe in this case, some of the higher ups within the Vatican have not discounted it and said it's worth paying attention to.
I always wonder if, like, at the beginning, you know, back in the day, like, people still aren't buying our bullshit. Maybe if we have more pageantry, could we get like a golden podium thing, man? I feel like that'll really up the people being convinced of stuff. Can I wear maybe a robe like a wizard? As long as we look the part, it's got to be real. You know, it's like
the Bible tells us 10 kingdoms will give over their power to the Antichrist. So we know that as that day approaches, whenever it is, no one knows the day or the hour, but when it's here, massive.
We know the week, you know, maybe the month. Right.
World powers will give their power over to the beast. This tells us that these governmental powers.
The devil is just like him getting in the door is just wow. That is just a difficult. He's got like guys like helping him. No, your horns won't fit that way. You got no. Turn your head to the side. Okay, we'll turn your shoulders side when we'll just walk you in. No, I got the top horn. We'll bring it down. No, it's like he's got like a team of guys helping him through the door.
Powers will be extremely evil if they want to serve the.
Come on. And why? Wait, hold on. Why does the devil's like arms turn into a coat? Turn into a suit? Jeez Louise. That's too funny. He's like, no, I just want to look like I'm wearing a suit from like the elbow down. I don't know why.
Antichrist. Well, check out these next two videos. The first one, I'm not too sure of. You make up your own mind.
He's like, why is the devil so big? I don't know. He's in enough film or something.
It could be an evil manifestation within somebody who works within the government. And the second one, on the other hand, well, you'll see for yourself. There's no hiding the fact this is a 100% true thing that recently happened.
You're going to learn a few lessons from us.
Wait, what? He said this is 100% true. Hold on.
One on the other hand, well, you'll see for yourself. There's no hiding the fact this is a 100% true thing that recently happened.
This is 100% true thing that recently happened. Okay.
You're going to learn a few lessons from us. and I'm going to be the first one.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what was in her mouth? Oh, there was
Hi there, this is Sharon.
I think I don't know. I didn't. It was too blurry. What was that? Was that a? You know, people have tongues in their mouths, man. Right? Like, you know, those are things that exist in people's mouths. Like, what the?
Sharon Duffing at the Minnesota State Capitol. It is Friday, April 4th.
It's like there's zero things inside people's mouths. Like there's just, you know, or like just a piece of gum. There's those too, you know, people chew gum, right? Like, my goodness.
2025, and I'm here to double check on what everybody's been talking about on social media is this plaque in honor of our governor, Tim Walz. And it is from people that are
What's up, AJ? How we doing? It's good to see you. Oh yeah.
Supportive of his efforts. And there it is.
There it is. You know, the demon worshiping
Hey,
demon craps.
right here in the East Hall, lower level.
Oh.
And it reads the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers. Thanks, Governor.
Sound like she got scared saying Satan worshiper. Satan worshiper.
For Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you. And that's what it says.
That feels like that was planted. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that was put there by the Satanic Temple. You know, they do stuff like that. Although that one almost didn't really feel, because, hold on, I feel like it said Satan worshiper.
Spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you.
Yeah, this feels planted. That doesn't feel like an actual. That doesn't feel like it's actually from the Satanic Temple. Would they say Satan worshippers? Because that. Look, if you're gonna try to like do some kind of plant thing where you're trying to say that it's the Church of Satan. Just learn about the Church of Satan, like learn about the actual religion or whatever, because you could have easily put this in there and we would all be convinced it's real, except you're messing up just like the basics, but like just the fundamentals of like what that religion believes. So I think that this was some Fundie that had this made and put in there, and then is like, oh look, there's a Tim Walls. It's, you know, he's attracting Satan worshipers. Like, come on, get the hell out of here. How stupid is everybody?
And that's what it says.
More information is becoming widely known on some of the weapon systems that are being used today. And if these were being used in the past, even 50 years ago, people would think that these are supernatural forces. It's interesting when looking at some of the ancient...
That's funny. That's pretty funny. Joseph said, fake gods, therefore no real God. Fake money, therefore no real money. That is a perfect one-to-one comparison. That's not a false analogy at all. That thing doesn't ever break down. That is exact. As if there's some kind, like there's no way to like have money checked to see if it is real or not. There's no possible, you know, that we make money, right? Like you get that humans make money and then we determine like what makes a money a real one and stuff. You get that, right? There's ways to like go prove that money is real money. Like there's no way to prove anything with gods, dude. Like it's just everybody just thinking they're right. And then everybody pointing at everybody else going, they're stupid because they believe in not the God that I have decided is the right one. So I'm right because of that. There's no measuring stick, dude. What is wrong with you? You serious?
Texts like the Book of Enoch, which says that the fallen angels taught mankind how to make weapons. Other cultures have...
What's up? Look at the trees. How we doing? Come on. How stupid is everybody? Quite. Yeah. Okay. You're right. I don't even know why. I don't know why I even put that question forth. Like, how stupid is? I'm like, well, pretty goddamn. Is that can I answer with pretty goddamn? Yeah, let's go with that.
Similar beliefs about the gods giving them this type of forbidden knowledge as well. And it really makes you wonder when you see some of these advanced weapon systems that are being developed and used today, where did they get this type of knowledge and information from?
Wait, this can't be true,
How they're
right?
designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
Are either of you aware of any individuals who have AHI symptoms have passed away from their ailments?
Wait, what was this? I guess this moved into some other territory pretty quickly here. Hold on. Well, what the fuck? What?
These advanced weapon systems that are being developed and used today, where did they get this type of knowledge and information from?
Wait, this can't be true,
How they're
right?
designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
Are either...
That sounds like that. Oh man, what's it called? I always want to call it gang busting, but it's not. It's not gangbusters. It's what is it? Gang stalking. That's what it is, right? Where they conspiracy people, and I'm not saying that this doesn't happen because it makes good sense to like do like if you're trying to mess with people or whatever, do like some really wacky stuff to them and like just harass people in the weirdest ways to get them to think they're like going crazy or something. It's gang stalking, right? Anyway, but it's where you just like pay a bunch of like random people to like follow somebody around and then just start doing weird things, just like saying like nonsense near them and stuff, just doing everything they can to make them feel like they're going crazy. So sure, I mean that could be something that happened. I don't know. This sounds like they're saying it's some kind of weapon where you can like shoot somebody with a laser or something, and they're like start going crazy. It's like they can make people be on LSD if they like shoot with this laser, LSD rocket or whatever, or lasers. So like if we point this at you, you start tripping. But I don't know about that. But I could see the gang stalking thing.
Are you aware of any?
It always reminds me of Community, when there's this show called Community, and they had like this I don't know, John Goodman was like the head of this like department for air conditioning, and there was like this really weird like cult, like Illuminati-esque, whatever, you know, secret society that surrounds it and everything. And so they like kidnap them and bring them to like the orientation and all that type of stuff to be the air, whatever, the you know, the air fix it guy or whatever. And they would have stuff like astronauts in the corner making toast just so that nobody would ever believe nobody would ever believe you if you went and told people. They're like, oh, and there was an astronaut in the corner making toast for everybody. Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Got it. You're insane. That's what that is. But that's almost what this reminds me of.
Any individuals who have AHI symptoms have passed away from their ailments?
I do. I do.
Have any of you three panelists ever seen one of these weapons?
I have seen a 1991 version of the weapon, and it looks like a satellite dish with a unit this size attached to it. Of course, over the years, miniaturization has been possible. Obviously, there's a limitation to how miniaturized it can be because of the antenna size, which is always related to the wave. But still, it is something that can be well contained in the trunk of a car or even a large backpack.
More of these.
So it is a laser. It's like it is a makes you trip if we point it at you laser. That's kind of funny. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea how like I doubt it. I don't know. That sounds like sci-fi, but you know, whatever. I'd be happy to take more evidence to demonstrate that is true, but just them talking about it there is not going to do it for me. But
these types of silent weapons were seen on display recently at rallies in Serbia.
What's up, Steven? How you doing, dude?
As you can see, the crowd of people are completely
Pragmatic Crystal. How you doing? Oh yeah.
affected and dispersed by an unseen force. People are believing this was most likely an LRAD system, but it's not known exactly. Something affected this entire group of people, and you can't even see what it is.
there's the conspiracy music right there. That's the new Requiem for a Dream. Like the Requiem for a Dream soundtrack like of my day turned into this song of this day.
There are physical wars and physical events.
Hold on, that didn't show not the what. All that did was show that a bunch of people like started like thought they saw something or like started running or something or got scared of something. And here's how people work. Like if you start to do like I could have done that myself, right? If I went there and was like, just got like 3 or 4 other people and were like, let's all just start running like we saw something. You'll get everybody to do that. That's how humans are. Like, have you ever watched those? Damn, what are they? I always forget what they're called. Like where they, I don't know, they just pay people to just show up and they don't even pay. They just all like show up at one time at one place and they'll start dancing and stuff. But they do different ones where they like, you know, it's like a prank or whatever. Anyway, and they have like large groups of people do these pranks. And there's usually only like 1 or 2 people that don't know what the hell's happening, right? Can't think of what it's called. Somebody in chat knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, they and if all you got to do, it's almost like that, like pointing up and looking at the sky thing. Have you ever done that? If you like point and look up at the sky, like people will stop and start doing it. You know, you get like a couple people like just be like, "What is that up there?" And like, people will just stop and be like, "What are you guys? You guys looking at something?" They're like, they'll just, you know, humans are curious, right? And then we're also very impulsive, and we tend to sense danger if we see other people running away from nothing. Doesn't have to be anything. We just see other people run away. Like, there must be something, you know. Flash mob, thank you. That was it. yeah, Grand Theft Auto bot, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, flash mob, that's what it's called. But like, and you could see how people will just start like the one of the flash mobs is like these people all walking down the street, and then all of them just start running, right? They all just go, ah! They just start running from the nothing, right? And there would be like 1 or 2 people that we're just already there or whatever. And they're like, oh shit, I guess we're running now. I don't even what do you guys, hey, what do we is there a bull coming? I see bulls they do this bull thing every so often in some places or something. Is that what's happening here? Like they just start following them, you know.
It's going on all around us. But what is driving these are the spiritual battles and the spiritual wars in the unseen realms.
What's driving it are the spiritual battles and the spiritual wars. Okay. Any evidence for that? No. You're just putting all the pieces together yourself, though, aren't you? Yeah, smart guy. He's got he's got like the biggest freaking whiteboard, or like push, the push pins with the yarn. It's like whatever. It's got like a massive one.
Here's a testimony of a supernatural war that was taking place over a man's soul, and it shows who is the one with all the authority, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ. What? Put your trust in Jesus alone, because whether it's in the physical or the spiritual realm, he is the one who is Lord over it all.
I interviewed this one
Jeez Louise. All right, yeah.
guy. He was a Muslim imam in Rwanda. He's not a believer in Jesus. He was actually an apologist for Islam. So he would fight in the streets against Christians, why they were wrong. There's this whole experience where he has a mental breakdown. These people from the Anglican Church pray for him, and he's healed, and he didn't know what to do with that. A year and a half later, he gets blood cancer. So they put him on palliative care. He's going to die. Sadiq dies, and he is in this hellish place. He said to me, it was like a slaughterhouse, and these three human-like but very distorted creatures come in, one with an axe, one with a scythe and a bucket, and they're about to put the axe through his chest. And he says, into this room steps this man of light in a robe with a beard, and he holds out his hands, and in his wrists are holes, and light coming out of them, and light coming out of him into me, Sadiq said. And he said, and I felt a peace and a warmth, and he said, I knew who this was. Jesus says to him, I died for mankind. You are among those I died for. Never deny it again. And
Weird when the guy that created the place of the torture chamber where they've got the scythes to like be cutting you up and everything is also the guy that shows up like with the results of his own torture murder, by the way, because torture murder is just so ubiquitous for gods apparently or whatever. But like, and then he's going to protect you from the torture chamber he created. Okay. Yeah. But I got it now. Sure. And these stories are so silly. Like it's constant. They always just tell stuff like this. Who is it? Like, let's actually go back and try to figure out like who this is. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll get somebody to convert, and then I swear they just get them to fucking make up stories and shit.
Tell everyone. Sadiq sits up and a sheet falls off his face, and suddenly there are all these people screaming and running, and he's like, what's going on? He had died that evening. It was the next morning, and it was his burial. He looks down to the right, and there's a grave dug, and he goes, Jesus is here. Jesus saved me. Jesus brought me back from...
He said, well, it was the holes that gave it away. I mean, who else has holes like that? Jeez Louise. And if you want to do something with your holes like that, I don't feel like that. Did that work? That didn't. That could not have been the segue. It's not the segue that we deserve. It's the segue that we need right now. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout. And they got stuff for holes. They do. They got all sorts of stuff for all sorts of holes. And you can mix and match if you want. They would just do a little bit of sanitization in between or something. I don't know. Anyway, go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley and get your butt some stuff. All right. Jeez Louise. That was rough. That was a rough segue there.
From hell.
Oh, it's over. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, right. Yeah, you always got to remember when they're like, a lot of times I don't even pay attention down here because it feels like it never makes sense anyway. But like, anytime they start just going, and Jesus Christ actually is the savior of all, like once they start getting way too specific about Jesus being the thing, then the video's about to end. It's like, we have to do that. Otherwise the whole video's a wash. Anyway. All right, here we go. What else we got? Okay, so there was like 3 different. Let me see if I can find it. I had it in my history here. There was like 3 different videos of the same dude. Look, see? And then this guy and this guy. I think they're all like, it's all the same guy. You see what I mean? So, all right. So let's see what this dude's there. If we end up watching them reacting to the same clip, oh well, hopefully they're going to have different ideas about this stuff and maybe put their own spin on it. Either that or they just all copy each other. I don't know how this goes, but so but we probably aren't going to see that one clip repeated where he's like saying all the stuff about him being the king of all the religions, you know.
Could the Antichrist be walking among us right now? So get this, okay? There's this guy. He's born to an Egyptian father and an American mother. He was raised in the States. He's now living in England, but he claims that he's the true successor to both Jesus and Muhammad somehow.
Somehow, I don't know.
So you heard that correctly. He says that he's the rightful pope.
And Scientology. He's also Xenu's lizard kid, or what? Isn't Xenu like a lizard thing or something with like a volcano mouth? I don't know Xenu really well.
He's the new Mahdi, and Christians on X are literally calling him the Antichrist. Just listen to how he describes himself.
I am Abdullah.
Like Steven's like, plug them alls. And Ross like, okay. Done and done. Okay, plugged. All right.
Successor of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, the successor.
No, not the urethra. That's disgusting. No. What? That does not count as one of the whole. Just get the hell out of
The
here.
Comforter Ahmed, the successor of Simon Peter, the successor of Muhammad, the successor of Jesus Christ. I am the true and legitimate Pope. I am the proof upon the Christians. I am the son of the Muslims through my father, and the son of the Christians and the Jews through my mother. I am the son of the East through my father, and the son.
See how it's different without the music? I'm glad this one doesn't have the music, because he's like, I am totes the kid of Jesus and Muhammad. I'm both their kid. I'm basically, if Jesus and Muhammad had gay sex and made a baby, that's me.
Son of the West through my mother.
And there's like no music to make it sound like convincing at all. It's just some weirdo.
Pretty wild, right? So in this video, we're going to figure out exactly who this guy is. I'm going to show you guys his background, unpack the crazy.
Dude, wouldn't it be funny if he was like super bald, like right here? He was like, he's bald. Like he says, you know, it's just, but his hair is like, you know, he's like, no, you got to give me at least 6 inches right in this front line here so that I can cover up. So I can. Okay.
Claims that he's making. And at the end, I'm going to tell you whether or not the Christians on X might actually be onto something with the whole Antichrist thing. So trust me, this one is going to be an absolute wild ride.
Wait, how can it be an Antichrist if he says that he is the successor to the Jesus Christ? You can't be anti the thing that you're the successor to.
Right. Real quick, if you're new here, I am Cameron Bertuzzi. I run Capturing Christianity, where we explore deep theological questions and evaluate bold claims like the ones that we're discussing today. My goal here is simple: to expose you to the intellectual side of Christian belief.
Okay. No, sure. Good job.
If you see value in this type of content, you can support my work directly over at capturingchristianity.com/donate. All right, let's go ahead and jump in to unraveling.
Charlie, what's going on, man? It's called doing a cavina, beer bongs to the bottle. That's right. NoFX has a song about it called The Party Animal. That's right.
This very, very, very bizarre story. All right, so who is this guy? Well, his name is Abdullah Hashem, though he's now better known as Abba al-Sadiq, meaning father of...
Yeah, Baba said, with a neat little trick called making shit up. That's what that
is. Truthful. He was born in 1983. Abdullah comes from an interesting cultural mix. His dad's Egyptian and his mom's American. He grew up in the States. Abdullah studied...
Why do people keep repeating that? Like, what is that? I feel like he said that 3 times now. He's like, but his dad's Egyptian and his mom's American. So he could be anything at this point.
Comparative religious studies at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. So right from the start, Abdullah was into pretty fringe stuff like really early on. He made documentaries exploring these really weird esoteric ideas about end times prophecies with titles like The Antichrist Dajjal is a reptilian shapeshifter.
All right, so we got the Xenu. The Xenu thing does add up here. It does. Wow. So there's the Dajjal will be, of course, he's a reptilian person.
Yes, that's a real title. And another popular series called The Arrivals, which racked up millions of views.
Yeah, because you know the people that like everybody wants to follow and everybody will worship are the people believing in reptilian humanoids. Is he a flat earther too? Because that, you know, I feel like that.
But the real turning point for this guy came in 2008 when he moved to Cairo, Egypt, just in time to get involved with the 2011 Egyptian revolution. That was actually the year I got married. So Abdullah describes his experiences vividly as saying this: I was a youth who was on the front lines of the Egyptian revolution. I camped out in Tahrir Square. I was attacked by government agents and Egyptian police forces. I had dodged bullets and engaged in deadly battles, and I was arrested and tortured. Well, after this very dramatic period, Abdullah encountered a charismatic figure named Ahmed al-Hassan, an Iraqi Shia leader who claimed that he was the Yamani, a prophesied precursor to Islam's Messiah figure, the Mahdi. Okay, quick sidebar. The Mahdi in Islamic eschatology is a divinely guided leader expected to establish a kingdom of justice at the end of times. Okay, Abdullah became deeply convinced that Ahmed al-Hassan was the real deal, eventually announcing himself as Ahmed's appointed successor in 2015, taking on titles such as the Second Mahdi and the Riser of the Family of Muhammad. Now, fast forward to today, and Abdullah, or Abba al-Sadiq, as he's now called, has formally established a religious group called the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light. They're a relatively small but international movement with followers spread across 40 different countries.
There's like a tiny little nobody that believes in reptilian humanoids that had some kind of weird esoteric belief about, you know, the Mahdi or whatever. But you think this guy's going to take over the planet? He's going to unite the world. Jeez Louise. And get rid of like all the different religions and stuff. Okay, sure, buddy.
Launched satellite TV channels like Black Banners of the East and published their own scriptures, including Abdullah's recent release, The Mahdi's Manifesto, which lays out his vision.
The Mahdi's Manifesto. That's a very official sounding. That is exactly what holy texts usually sound like. The Mahdi's Manifesto. Yeah.
For a divine just state. And to give you like a feel for what this guy believes about leadership, here's a quote directly from his manifesto. Quote, every town, county, city, state, country, every movement, revolution, community, and society needs a leader, or else it is doomed to fail. Without an adequate leader, the people are forced to choose between inadequate ones. Not exactly the most...
Wow, that's deep. That is deep. And you basically just described all American politics for like the past 30 years. It's like, yeah, without adequate leader, the people are forced to choose between ones that suck. And that's what Trump, hence Trump. That's where we get that.
Articulate leader, but he criticizes popular elections and democratic processes, arguing that true leaders are divinely chosen by God, not by popular vote. He writes this, quote, the choice of the people is irrelevant when it comes to a leader. In fact, it is strictly prohibited. Men can judge only by the apparent, while God is capable of choosing a leader by their inside or by their heart.
By their insides. Okay. Well, first of all, that's kind of scary. So very anti-democratic just out the gate. He's just like, no, it's actually evil to choose people by, you know, whatever that way. No, God chooses. Okay, so who decides what God says again? Oh, you. That's right. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, no, you're the one that decides what God says, right?
By their inside.
And we get that, we get a lot of that lately, you know, of the people say it, you know, like, no, it's cool. I know what God thinks. It's cool. You know, this isn't what humans think. Well, yes, I am a human, but I think this is what God thinks. So you got to listen to me more, right?
So in Abdullah's view, divine leadership is not a metaphor. Okay, it's literal and clearly spelled out in prophetic wills. And he explicitly claims that he's been directly appointed by God himself through the written will of Muhammad, which according to Abdullah clearly identifies him by name. So we have an idea now of who Abdullah Hashem is. He's a controversial, self-proclaimed, divinely appointed figure with a growing global following. Next, we're going to unpack exactly what he's teaching about Jesus, about Muhammad, about Peter, St. Peter, and why he thinks that he's the rightful pope. Yes, again, you heard that correctly.
I love this guy's just everything, man. That makes me so happy. It's like, I am the Pope. I am the Muslim leader. I am the what are the most popular religions? I should be in charge of all of those.
Now, after we look at his claims, we're going to compare them with what the Bible actually says about the Antichrist, and then I'll tell you whether I think this guy actually fits the bill. Okay, and trust me, you want to stick around because his claims only get more bizarre and dangerous, actually, from here. Let's dive directly into his theology, and you guys got to brace yourselves.
I love how it's dangerous whenever it's other people doing it. You know, oh, this guy thinks that he was ordained by God to be able to tell everybody what they should or shouldn't be doing. You know, so but they do this all the time, man. Like when they vote in ways where they're like, but the Bible says though, and it's like, yeah, we don't make laws based on what the Bible says, man. We make laws based on what's like best for like what's based on the Constitution, not on the Bible. If you're pointing to it and go just because the Bible also says that a donkey had a debate with a guy and won. I don't think we should really be listening to that book too much, especially when it's talking about maybe like stoning your own child if they talk back or get drunk and shit, you know.
Abba al-Sadiq's claims are nothing short of extraordinary. That's an understatement. And just a quick heads up. So right now I'm just laying out his beliefs for you guys, but you got to keep watching because I'm about to show you exactly why these ideas fall apart. So first off, Abba al-Sadiq doesn't just claim that he's a religious leader. Okay. He claims that he's the Mahdi, a prophesied Islamic Messiah who, according to Islamic teachings, is supposed to bring justice at the end of days. But that is not the craziest part. Okay, he's going way beyond Islamic tradition and boldly stepping into Christian territory, claiming that he's also the true successor of the Apostle Peter and therefore the rightful Pope. So in his own words,
I love how this guy's like, you know what it is? This guy could so clearly see how just like deluded religious people are. And so he's like, as long as I just say that I'm the dude that's in charge of your religion, and then just say like one or two words, because that, let's be real, that usually works. Okay, it works in politics and stuff. It works all the time. Like all these like politicians got to do is be like, but God told me, and then like be like, and I'm y'all's like religion and stuff, and God told me, and then people will be like, oh, we got to vote for that guy. Oh, we got to go like support him because you know he's going for my religion and stuff. My God like communicated him with him because we happen to be the same religion. Like it's the most easy way to manipulate people's minds is just saying that you are, you know, that you are their religion and you understand stuff about their religion better than all of them. Then you have to do whatever he says, because that's where the real manipulation comes in is, hey, didn't you say that you're going to live according to this book? You did say that you're going to, well, I know this book better than you do. So you got to do what I tell you. You got to believe the things I want you to think. Like, that's like con man manipulation 101, and this dude's just trying to do it across all borders. Like he's just he's like, I'll just pretend that I'm every religion's thing. Then they have to listen to me. That's how that goes.
In his manifesto, he says this, quote, "We are to the Muslim nation what the Pope is to Catholics, and what the Dalai Lama is to Tibetan Buddhists, and what the Messiah is to the Jews. The current Pope is illegitimate, and the only true successors of the prophets and messengers are Abdullah, Ahmed, and Al-Mahdi." In other words, Abba al-Sadiq believes that he was explicitly named in a prophetic chain that stretches from Jesus to Muhammad, and then to his mentor, Ahmed al-Hassan, and then finally to himself. He argues that explicitly here. He says,
Jesus alayhi salam appointed his successor in his lifetime, and none has the right to appoint but him.
Oh yeah, this is pretty terrifying. I'm going to be honest here. He's got like this statue, this weird like Hall of Presidents looking statue thing from Disney, and then he's also got like portraits of himself up behind him, whatever, and his podium's massive. Okay, this is absurd, man. Why is gotta have a ladder to get up to this thing? Jeez Louise. And it's so thin. Like, why would you make the stage like where's the band gonna set up? Okay, like this is that. Do you not do worship songs or anything? No, you gotta. Okay, well, you're doing religion wrong. Just saying, like, you gotta have.
He appointed Simon Peter when he said, "And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven,
Dude does not sound like he believes his own bull crap either, dude. Like usually with these kinds of people, they usually sound a little bit, I don't know, charismatic or something. This dude sounds like a wet blanket. Like he doesn't even care about what he's saying. Like, yeah, whatever Peter said, I'm going to build my rock among whatever. I don't care. Can somebody else read this crap? I don't even care anymore. This is ridiculous. Like, that's all. It sounds like he could not be less convinced by himself.
And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So Jesus alayhi salam named the first of his successors.
Hey, Bree, what's going on? How you doing?
And he named the last as well, the Comforter. He said, therefore I'm sending you prophets and sages and teachers. Some of them you will kill.
Okay, so I can't believe people take this guy seriously. Have you seen Trump? You know, people take him seriously. Just saying. I'm not surprised by any cult leaders ever again.
And crucify. Others you will flog in your synagogues and pursue from town to town. He also said, because of this, God in his wisdom said, I will send them prophets and apostles, some of whom they will kill and others they will persecute. Clearly, Jesus alayhi salam spoke of prophets who would come after him, and he named the chief among them.
What is this like? He looks like he's supposed to. Is he going to put on like a Dr. Doom mask back here at some point? Like this feels, this feels like he's like, and I like Dr. Doom's style. He's got a pretty cool green cloak, you know. But I won't do I won't do the metal face. Like somebody had to talk him down from the metal face. Like really? All right, fine. Just the green cloak then. Just okay. Damn. The Dr. Doom mask would have been badass, but whatever. Now I'm not going to sound convincing at all. That's why he's all unconvinced and stuff, because he's mad he had to not wear the metal face thing.
Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient, Jesus said, for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And there has never been a man in history who claimed to be that Comforter, except the best of all prophets, the master of man.
Definitely not the Antichrist. This is ridiculous. This guy sucks. I'm bored right now. Okay. And he's even speaking my language. I thought you know, like you got to be like shaking your fist and, you know, we believe, and, you know, we got to do all the type of, you know, and all that type of stuff, man. Like you're not impactful or charismatic at all.
Mankind. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
He's got like a whole 40 people in this room here. And this room looks like that opening room you go into in the haunted mansion that like gets real tall. Makes you feel like you're getting smaller the whole time. Like, what the hell? It's like, it looks exactly like that. All like the weird pictures on the wall of all of him too. Like, what the fuck?
He became the inheritor of the messengers, the successor to Jesus, and the father of mankind, the true Pope.
So according to Abba al-Sadiq, Muhammad.
Yeah, you want to hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. But we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. So just I'll be back in 1 second. I don't know how long it takes. So I'm going to, I don't know exactly how it works. I'm trying something with the skippable ads. Did that work? Was there an ad? I don't know. I don't know how it goes usually. How long do ads usually take? I don't Okay, we're back. I'm just going to pretend like we're back because I don't know how long these stupid ads take.
Muhammad wasn't just a prophet. He was literally one of the popes after Peter.
What's up, Greg? How you doing, man? Didn't see you there.
Let's just let that sink in for a second, okay? He claims that Muhammad inherited Peter's role, and thus all subsequent Islamic leaders inherited the papal authority that originated from Jesus. Now, keep in mind that Pope Francis recently passed away, okay? And Abba al-Sadiq wasted no time capitalizing on this tragic event, okay? In a video addressed specifically to Christians, he made a shocking declaration about the papal throne.
The earth swallowed the false pope. He was killed by the mere breath of the believers chanting, Labbaik ya Apostatic. and the throne.
Okay, that's creepy. That was creepy. It's weird how like uncharismatic this guy is, and yet these people seem to not understand that. They seem to be thinking he is charismatic or something.
Throne of falsehood was shaken. This miracle is no less significant than the one which occurred at the hands of the.
I got to stay here for 2 minutes. What? That's ridiculous. Ember said can vary from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. What am I supposed to do for that long? 2 minutes. That's like an eternity. Like, that's what I just set it up. How Ember was telling me I could by putting the ads in myself, and I'd be like, and now a word from our sponsors. And I've never been able to do this before, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so then I just got to sit here, biting my fingernails, I guess, for 2 minutes.
The believers with Joshua, the son of Nun, alayhi salam, when their mere presence around the walls of Jericho and the sounds of their horns caused the mighty walls to collapse.
Yeah, so he claims that the death of Pope Francis was literally caused by his own followers' protests and prayers. To sum it up very clearly, Abba al-Sadiq believes at least 4 things.
So what's funny about that is it reminds me of that that one guy, was it Richard Lorenzo, right? Richard Lorenzo would do this thing where he would like say pray curses, not curses, I guess, but he would like pray for like mystic shops to be closed down and stuff like that, right? And they like would do, they would isolate on one mystic shop or whatever and pray for it to be shut down. And it took like a year and a half, but eventually the shop closed, and like, we did that. That was us. We totally did it. But like, that's the same. The Christians do this sort of stuff all the time. Again, it's the post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's like, just because it happened in a particular order, like, doesn't mean that it was caused by the thing that preceded it within that order. So like, if you prayed that something happened and then it did, it wasn't the prayer that made it happen. It was going to happen whether you prayed or not. I always use the example of like, there's this crazy lady named Kat Kerr, and she, always goes out and waves her like magical stick at hurricanes that are coming towards Florida. And the one time she went out there with her magical stick, it was like, go east or whatever. You better go east in the name of my magic. And then the storm went east. Does that mean that she had magical powers and it actually, she caused it to go east? Or is she just deciding that it was her magical powers that did cause it to go east because it happened to do the thing that she wanted it to do? That one, that's what happened. It was just a coincidence,
He's the Mahdi, an end times Islamic figure prophesied to restore justice. Number 2, he's the rightful pope, having inherited authority directly from Peter through Muhammad.
See, now he said, why are you exposing me? I'm sorry, I forgot.
3, the current papacy, especially now after Pope Francis' death, is
what's going on, dude?
Illegitimate and divinely rejected. And then 4, he's here to establish a global state ruled directly by God through him, fulfilling both Christian and Islamic end times prophecies. Yeah. And again, these are his claims.
Yeah, she would get angels from Africa to do it. I don't know what was the deal with the African one. Kat Kerr would be like, all right, and let's gather some angels from, let's go with Africa this time. I haven't actually, they've been kind of sitting out some of the battles lately. Last time it was Ireland, and before that it was the whole UK. But we're just going to go with an entire continent's worth of angels this time to get that tsunami out of there.
Claims, okay, they're not mine, and believe me,
I'm
itching to address how biblically innocent.
Gisela, hey, thank you so much. Gisela donated, let's see, 50 knocks. It's yeah, no, that's awesome. Holy crap. Appreciate that. Well, let me get this up on the screen here. Where the hell is it? Can I just do it up here? Wow. Hold on. It's not coming up. Jeez Louise. It's like a lot of comments. That's funny. I keep getting down to the bottom. There it is. Okay. Sorry. It's like I keep going down to the bottom, then it like reloads a million comments. Sorry. Thank you so much, Giselle. That's awesome. Well deserved for being quiet when some people get ads. Thank you. No. I'm trying. I don't know how to do this thing. I feel like it sucks though if if like it's random or whatever, and then there's like, so, you know what I mean? Like if YouTube, because YouTube doesn't know when the hell to put them in there. It's not like they can tell when some kind of break is coming up. So I feel like if I do it that way, it'll work a little bit better. But thank you so much, Zilla. That's awesome. That's huge. That's a big deal. Oh yeah, thank you. All right, let's see what he's got.
Historically wild these assertions are. But first, to properly evaluate whether or not he is the Antichrist or just another misguided cult leader, we have to understand what the Bible actually says about the Antichrist. First, let's get clear on the terminology. Okay, the word Antichrist comes from two Greek words, anti meaning in place.
Oh my God, are we really? All right, so we got to break down what anti and Christ means. We need the Greek. We need the Greek words for this.
Of or against, and Christos, meaning Messiah or appointed one. So the Antichrist isn't just some evil figure, okay? He's someone who explicitly claims or attempts to replace Christ, positioning himself as the ultimate authority over humanity. The Apostle John gives us some key characteristics in 1 John 2:22, where it says this, quote, "Who is the liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ?"
Now remember, this is not describing Trump. Remember all of these, all the times in the Bible, it's not Trump though. That's the person who is not the Antichrist. So he checks every single box, like the lies, like everything. It's just, but they'll never see him as the Antichrist.
This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son. So the Antichrist explicitly denies core Christian teachings, especially about Jesus and his unique relationship with the Father. Then in 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4, the Apostle Paul describes the Antichrist as the, quote, man of lawlessness, who openly sets himself up as divine. Let no one deceive you.
And remember, Trump called himself what? It's like the savior of Israel and all that type of stuff, the chosen one.
In any way, for that day will not come unless the rebellion comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed.
And he's a criminal too, by the way. Yeah.
The son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. Now think clearly about what Paul is saying here. Okay, this figure, this Antichrist figure, doesn't just oppose Christ. He claims divine authority. He redefines worship, and he positions himself as God's appointed ruler over everyone. And not to mention, he claims to be God himself. But in this,
yeah, that kind of takes care of all that stuff. Honestly, once you decide that you're God, that kind of takes care of the replacing Jesus and all this type of stuff. You kind of go in the long way to just be like, yeah, and he thinks he's God. Yep, got it.
This is crucial. The Antichrist of Scripture is also marked by deception and counterfeit miracles. Okay, Paul writes in 2
Oh, damn, we got another one. Wow. Lots of theists finding their way here. And that's a good sign from what I understand. And, you know, it's like I said, it's a lot more fun for the people in the chat. So keep on keeping on, y'all. Okay. And just, you know, make some good arguments and then we'll see what happens in the chat.
2 Thessalonians 2:9-10.
If God exists, we all want to know about it, right? Right. We all want to find out that factual information, right? So y'all give us your best arguments, y'all. Both y'all in the chat. Do it.
The coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan with all power and false signs and wonders, and with all wicked deception. So the biblical Antichrist is not just someone making these really like bold theological claims. He's someone whose power is supernatural and deceptive, able to convince masses through false miracles and signs. Could Abba al-Sadiq actually fit?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what interpretation he's going off of. As far as I remember, like a lot of what he's talking about is after the Day of Wonders. The Day of Wonders, as far as I understand, is like when the devil enters the Antichrist's body, right? So it's supposed to be that like you got the Antichrist and the there's also supposed to be a prophet. Nobody ever talks about that though. Like, I don't know. It's supposed to be like some kind of prophet that prophesies the Antichrist, and then you have what they call is the unholy trinity or whatever, and it's the Antichrist, Satan, and like Antichrist, Satan, and the prophet, right? And it's like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but it's like the evil version, right? And so when he is taken out, supposedly he will appear to be like assassinated or whatever, and it appears that way. It doesn't necessarily, you know, according to the Bible, it doesn't say that he definitely was taken out. It was just that it looks that way. Then he magically comes back to life And I think at that point, that's when he makes the statue of himself, and then he breathes life into the statue. And so then he has this giant statue enforcer dude, and everybody's freaking out, right? And then that's what I was describing earlier. But yeah, none of that's happened, you know, or even anything close to it.
This profile. Well, he definitely claims miraculous events. Remember, he claims that the death of Pope Francis was directly caused by his followers chanting and protesting. He said this event was.
I mean, but is that really a miraculous event, man? That sounds like just saying stuff, man. That sounds like, yeah, you know, that thing that happened, that was me. Yeah, no, I'm going to take credit for that. Like, it was my magical powers. So can we write that down as a miracle? That counts as a miracle, right? I said I caused it. Okay, let's get that down on paper. Okay, yeah, no, that's one of my miracles. Thank you very much. God damn it.
A great miracle and sign occurred.
Okay, never mind. He does actually say that it is a miracle.
A sign no less great than the earth swallowing Korah. The earth swallowed the false pope. He was killed by the mere breath of the believers chanting Labbaik Apostatic.
Do you know, in his mind right now, he's like, these people got to be really stupid to buy this, but I'm banking on stupid. I'm banking on everybody being stupid because I'm a cult leader, and that's what we do.
So now that we have a very clear biblical profile of the Antichrist, a charismatic leader who claims divine authority, who performs signs and wonders, who openly opposes central Christian doctrines, the stage is now set. We're now ready to evaluate his claims and make our determination. Is Abba al-Sadiq the biblical Antichrist? First, let's address the idea that Abba al-Sadiq could somehow be the successor of Jesus Christ. Okay, right out of the gate, he makes a very serious mistake. Peter is not Jesus's successor. Jesus did not appoint Peter to replace him. Okay, Peter was appointed as something like the prime minister or steward of the kingdom.
I think you're reading into what he's saying a little bit too much there, man. Okay, because he's trying to clearly just make himself the head dude of all the religions. You're taking him too serious. First of all, that's your first problem, and then second of all, you know, trying to make it make sense with your subjective interpretation of your doctrine, of your denomination, of your religion. Like, yeah, I don't think it's going to line up with that stuff. Seeing as how, you know, he's not your fucking religion, man. Like, what do you want
to lead while the King Jesus is away? The distinction here is subtle, but it's very crucial. Think about it this way. The British Prime Minister...
It's not subtle. Not subtle at all.
...isn't the successor of King Charles. He's there to sort of govern under his authority, okay? Peter's role was very similar. He ruled the church under the authority of Christ, who remained...
Remember, this is the channel that takes, like, you know, the Bible a lot more intellectually.
...eternally king. And once you grasp that, like... Jesus did not appoint Peter as his successor. The claim of being Jesus's successor therefore collapses entirely. Secondly,
I don't know where it is, honestly, where I'm not as up on like Catholic stuff. They kind of have their own little D&D lore, as it were, if you will, per se, right? But there's some kind of something that says that Peter, like, is like the, you know, it's going to be like a direct line or something from Peter. And I don't remember exactly what it was that like Peter. Oh no, I think it's because like upon this rock. That's right. That's why his name was Petra or whatever, right? Because that it was upon this rock I will build my church or whatever, right? And that's where I think they get the Peter was considered the first pope, and everybody beyond that has to be like a direct descendant of Peter and all that. But again, these are all very different subjective interpretations of doctrine. You're not going to be like, he's just jumping over all the boundaries within all the doctrine. Because like the dude is also saying that he's like the predecessor or the next Muhammad. How does that factor into anything here? This way, it just doesn't make any sense to even be doing, like, you're just already taking him too seriously, man.
And very embarrassingly, Abba al-Sadiq argues that the comforter mentioned by Jesus is actually Muhammad. And look, I have to say it plainly, like this claim is honestly laughable. Okay, in John 14:26, Jesus explicitly identifies the comforter as the Holy Spirit. He says this clearly, but the helper.
That's funny. I always imagine the Holy Spirit being one of those really nice thick blankets that you go to sleep with. He's the comforter or whatever. That's just funny. I don't know. It just cracks me up. They need to make some Christian needs to make like a Holy Spirit comforter, because that's funny. You know, what am I talking about? They already have that. I don't know why I even said they should. That already exists. 100%.
The Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name. Muhammad was born centuries later and clearly didn't fit this description. Okay, the Comforter was promised to the apostles, who also...
Hold on. Is he trying to say that Muhammad's supposed to be the Comforter?
Okay, in John 14:26, Jesus explicitly identifies the Comforter as the Holy Spirit. He says this clearly. But the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name. Muhammad was born centuries later and clearly didn't fit this description. Okay, the Comforter was promised to the apostles, who also experienced him directly at Pentecost. And
this is like another thing I think that like people like to do, especially, and again, this is like another one of those things where they try to manipulate people. It's like they do this thing where they know some parts of the Bible, and then they have this really strange belief about the Bible, like that, being like, oh no, you know, Muhammad was actually the Comforter. And, you know, the Bible talks about Muhammad coming, and he was actually the Comforter. Like, people finding like all this stuff. It's just funny because it always makes, I feel like people make stuff like that up to act like they understand all religions better than everybody, and that's why you got to take them seriously or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, they're just making stuff up.
Acts 2. Trying to cram Muhammad into this verse is like forcing a square peg into a round hole. It simply doesn't work. You can ask my 1-year-old daughter. She even knows. Third,
What? Your 1-year-old daughter knows about? Okay.
Al-Sadiq insists that Muhammad was the true successor of Peter.
And she loves Revelation. Her favorite part is about the scorpion tail, human face, lion teeth, women hair, wearing crowns, things, you know, that terrorize people for 3 months and sting them, but nobody dies, but everybody's asking to die, but they can't die. Oh, my 1-year-old daughter loves that part.
Again, huge problems here. Okay, Muhammad openly contradicted central teachings of Christianity. From the divinity of Christ to his crucifixion and resurrection, Muhammad explicitly denied all of those.
Bro, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally enough, man. Okay? It's outside your doctrine, bro. You got to think that all religions are true, man. Okay? Hindus, I don't know why Hindus are getting left out of this, but they should be added in as well, man.
So in other words, from a Christian perspective, Muhammad was a manifest heretic. You can't simultaneously reject core Christian truths and claim legitimate succession from Peter. It's logically impossible. So these foundational claims that Abba al-Sadiq's entire case rests on, they fall apart upon even like a casual examination.
Of being what? Like that he's not actually the successor or whatever for Muhammad and Jesus. Do we really need you to like do this? Of course he's not actually those things. Is he actually the Antichrist? I thought that's the question in the title of your fucking video. Is this the Antichrist? What, you feel like answering that question at all?
Now let's address the elephant in the room. The question that started this video. Could Abba al-Sadiq actually be the Antichrist?
Okay, you got to stop doing that, man. Just as soon as I get upset about something, he's like, okay, I heard you, Brentley, just pipe down. Okay, we're getting there. All right. I'm like, all right. How is this guy hearing me right now? This is kind of freaky. I have not watched this before, and it's like,
now here's where I want to urge extreme caution to my fellow Christians. Okay, every generation has eagerly tried to identify various figures as the Antichrist.
yeah,
Usually
and it never works, man. It's crazy. It's almost as if y'all are just going to do this ad infinitum because there is no Antichrist or a Jesus that's coming back.
to be embarrassed later on. So let's slow down. Let's use discernment. Be careful not to.
I don't want to be embarrassed, okay? And we constantly are embarrassing ourselves about this sort of thing. And so I'm not saying he is the Antichrist, but I mean, he could be.
To jump to conclusions too quickly on this. Do I think that Abba al-Sadiq fits the biblical criteria for the Antichrist? No. And here's why. one very clear mark of the Antichrist, according to 2 Thessalonians.
Yeah, you're right. We gotta see if he has a Baal party in the third temple. That's right. I forgot about that one.
2:9 is that he's going to perform false signs and wonders. So in other words, legitimate supernatural looking miracles that genuinely deceive people. But let's be real here, all right? Abba al-Sadiq doesn't have that. His one big supposed miracle that his followers chanting caused the death of Pope Francis is frankly absurd.
Oh,
Pope
good.
Francis sadly passed away naturally due to health complications.
Oh.
Claiming credit for something completely natural as if it's some biblical miracle. This is
What Christians do all the time. Is that no?
This is ridiculous. Okay.
I agree. Y'all do this all the time though.
This isn't deception. It's just delusion.
Yeah, same thing with Christianity. Like you just keep talking about Christianity. I don't think he realizes he's talking about Christianity, but you're right. Delusion exists.
Another huge mark of the Antichrist is explicitly claiming divine authority in a direct and literal sense, declaring oneself as God or as divine. Now, Abba al-Sadiq, as wild as his claims are, doesn't seem to go this far. Okay, he portrays himself as a prophet, a successor, a divinely appointed ruler, but crucially not as God incarnate.
Oh,
now, this distinction matters
so close, you know,
immensely when we're trying to evaluate whether or not someone actually identifies.
I feel like that throws everybody out. Like honestly, dude, like that's I feel like that seems like it's a surefire way to like lose all your followers in like a single sentence. Like, oh, and by the way, I'm actually God. I know. It's so there's no, I'm not a prophet or anything. No, nothing like that. I am God. Like I'm literally God. Okay. And they're like, okay, we're getting the fuck out of here. This is bullshit. Now he's calling himself God. This is do some magic. He's not even doing the magic. I'm out of here. This is stupid, man. Can you fly? Fly around like Superman. If you can't do that, you're not God. Okay, it's not God. Get the hell out of here. This is ridiculous. Let's go, guys.
I
heard they're starting a new cult down the street. Some type of WeWork thing or something. Let's go.
As the Antichrist. So here's the bottom line. All right. Yes, his claims are wildly heretical, historically absurd, and completely theologically incoherent from a Christian standpoint. But is it on the level of an Antichrist? Probably not. Okay. Until we see some actual supernatural deception, legitimate looking miracles.
Legitimate looking miracles. That's funny. It's like as soon as we see some supernatural level deception. Okay.
Coherent from a Christian standpoint. But is it on the level of an Antichrist? Probably not. Okay, until we see some actual supernatural deception.
Actual supernatural deception. Buddy, how would you know you'd be being deceived supernaturally? How would you know? That's a weird, it's like until we know that we're being deceived supernaturally, then it's bullshit. Like, what the hell are you talking? How would you possibly know that?
Legitimate looking miracles. Christians should remain deeply skeptical of labeling anyone the Antichrist. So for now, we can just.
I agree with that. Yeah, because that's not a thing that's ever going to come. Okay. There is no such thing as an Antichrist, man.
Just relax. Like this guy's going to probably make some more videos on YouTube.
And that's it. And maybe add some more weird stuff to his weird haunted mansion room that he's got going on there.
Just a misguided religious figure, all right? He's not someone fulfilling end times prophecy. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to help me continue making content that defends and explains the truth of Christianity, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Your support directly enables me to tackle
bonkers. Oh yeah, dude. I was looking at this one. It's like 4 hours long though, or some crap. They really, I don't know. We're going on about that rat thing. I kind of want to cover the rat stuff soon, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, I think I might do a pre-recorded for that or something. I don't know. All right, what was the third one? How much time we got? Okay, we got about like 15 minutes. We'll do the last one. This dude's hilarious. This is the guy, if you don't remember, and I know I always talk about this, but it was really funny. Secular Rarity and I did a Christian nationalist conversation where we like reacted something, and he like Trump was just being Trump, saying, just being the wacky way that he is, and he like started crying. It's like, oh, that was beautiful. That was so glorious. It was really funny. So I always feel like you need to get that little bit of context before we watch anything from him. He's the type of guy that cries at a Trump at a Trump speech.
Is this individual?
Oh, hey, Amber, thank you so much. Hell yeah. All right, let me see. Hopefully I can get down to this one. So everything's messing up. But that's just because I'm poor. But y'all are helping with that. So thank you so much for that. All right, here we go. Said, behold, a legitimate looking miracle. I love that. Money appears. There we go. Hey, there. See, we got our own miracles over here, right? Yeah, I didn't. That was my magic. Whoa. Hey. Oh, thank you. $5. Hey, thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. Not because I love what you say, but because I appreciate the channel is open to dialogue from Theist too. Oh, cool. No, yeah, we enjoy that. As long as everybody's chill, there's no like crazy bigotry in the dialogue. Yeah, I'm happy to house some conversations. We can have some fun here. So, Cal Mikey, what's up, dude? How you doing? It's good to see you, man. All right, but seriously, no, thank you so much for the $5. And yeah, come back, hang out. Let's talk more. Maybe we can all learn something from each other. I don't know. But thank you so much to Emperor. I really do appreciate that. $2. Anything really does help, especially lately. I really do appreciate it. Kind of cut myself. Well, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, no, anything helps.
Out there, right, who is claiming to be the Mahdi, and many Christians believe that is the Antichrist, right? Now his name is Abdullah Hashim, and I think now he calls himself Abba al-Sadiq, all right, and that stands for Father of the Truthful, all right. And I'm gonna wait for
Father of the Truthful. Okay, this is. I like it. Hold on, let me hear it. I gotta say, it does sound at least like he's sort of trying on the the like how he pronounces it.
And I think now he calls.
I love it when like hillbilly to it. His name's the Sadiq. Like his name's Abba Sadiq.
Himself Abba al Sadiq. All right.
Abba Al. His name's Al Sadiq. It's what it is. It's like Al. It's a short for Alan, of course, but Al Sadiq.
And that stands for Father of the Truthful. All right. And I'm gonna wait for some of you guys to log in, but we're gonna just do a quick look into his video. We're gonna do some.
That's like a subliminal. Hurry the fuck up. Okay. I'm gonna wait for some of you idiots taking too fucking long to get here. Hurry the hell up. Okay, I don't have all day to be sitting here waiting for you people to get into the chat. This is ridiculous. You're making me look bad. Okay,
digging.
I have like 500,000 subs. Why is nobody here? What's going on?
Into his past, and then we are going to just look at what the Bible says. All right, and so, just a little bit I saw. All right, his dad is Egyptian. His mom is American.
Everybody seems to know the ethnicities of his parents real well for some reason. I'm not really sure how that what like, oh, his dad's Egyptian though, so that's pretty antichristy.
He was born in 1983. He grew up.
He's a year older than me.
In the States. All right, from what I've seen, went to Indiana University and Purdue University, did some kind of weird religious studies, made some documentaries.
Made some like weird religious studies. You mean just like he just studied religion?
He seemed to just be really fascinated, by these like weird, religious things. And so
all religious things are weird to people that don't believe them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think what he's talking about is saying like this dude's talking about stuff in a way that like nobody believes it. But like it kills me when they're like, but that's a weird religion. All religions are weird to the people that don't believe in them. Like these people pretend to cannibalize a carpenter from 2,000 years ago and encourage kids to drink his blood and make sure to call it out while you're doing, okay, here's the blood, kid. I'll drink up the blood. Like what the but other stuff's weird.
We'll look at that here in a second. I just want to wait for you guys to log in before I actually dive in.
He's doing it again. All right, seriously, hurry guys, why is nobody? Oh my God, hurry up and log in. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, I'm serious, dude. Like, how long have I been here? That was at least like a minute and a half. It is a minute and a half, minute and 30 seconds. You guys still ain't here. This is ridiculous.
All right, so
I'm not doing countdowns. All right, God damn it.
The Mahdi is a figure in Islamic belief, especially in Sunni and Shia traditions. All right, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me get my
exactly. Grand Theft Auto said all religions are weird, except for mine. It's very normal. So yeah, of course God had to sacrifice and torture, murder himself. How else would he forgive? Hello, it's ridiculous. You guys are weird.
thing right here, who is seen as a divinely guided leader who will appear at the end of times to bring justice, righteousness, and true Islam to the world before the day of judgment.
Day of Dungeons would be cooler. Actually, I kind of wish he would have gone with the Day of Dungeons.
Right? Mahdi means the guided one. He's expected to fight evil, defeat oppressive forces, and
hey, thank you, SoCal Mikey. What's up, dude? Hell yeah. So, oh, let me get it up there. SoCal Mikey said, raise a fist against theocracy. Yeah. And I think, well, I don't know. I don't know what our friendly theists in the chat believe about that sort of thing. But hopefully we can all agree that we don't want religion in government. You know, because once religion gets in government, guess what starts getting in religion? Government. That's right. You don't want that. That's why you got to keep both out of both, right? Because then they start messing with each other. That was the whole idea. Keep them separate, right? Anyway, but thank you so much, SoCal Body. Appreciate that. Bring it back up for one last round of applause. And now I messed it up and put up zero on it. Wait, see, I don't. Now what is Kari saying? See it now. I don't need, because now everybody's interested. What's she saying? See, now I don't need that level of acknowledgement. I prefer to be known by my name, since I am. I have no idea the context of that. That was just an accident. I don't even know why I read that. Honestly, that was my mistake. I was trying to do this. See, anyway, thanks again, Mikey. I really appreciate it too. All right, here we go.
And unite the Muslim community. In many traditions, the Mahdi will rule for 7 to 9 years and will establish a kingdom of peace and justice. His appearance is often linked with the second coming of Jesus, all right, in Islamic religion or whatever. All right, so
an Islamic religion, whatever, you know, the stupid weird stuff they think. I don't care.
This guy, all right, let's share my screen with you. Let's pull this up. Boom. Let's start with this. Let's look at his website. All right, now, to be honest with you, this is why I tell people all the time, you know, the whole.
He does look like a Batman villain. I know. It's like he should just have Jordan Peterson and Roger Stone in the background, and I'd be like, are these Batman bad guys? Is that what's happening?
Holy Spirit will lead you and guide you into all truth. When I saw this guy and I saw everybody going crazy about it, I laughed. I said, this guy is just another goofball, all right? But so many people were talking about it.
This guy is a goofball. He's goofy. Look at him.
All right, so he's saying he's fulfilled the prophecies. Apparently, Muhammad wrote this will.
I love it. He's got fulfilled prophecy. And here's a list of the prophecies that I have personally fulfilled myself, with the characteristics that are mine. And
his name is on that will. All right, so he's got a website here. He's got a pretty good following. I'm about to play
Jared Leto, who apparently is also a cult leader of some sort. I didn't realize there was a video about that specifically. Jared Leto he's a cult leader. I don't know, or he's a wannabe cult leader because he has like some kind of retreat or something where you go, you know, and he does like guided meditations for you or something. I don't know how it works, but he does look pretty cult leaderish. But yeah, another day we'll get into that.
His video for you here at the beginning for those of you who didn't see it, and then I'm going to show you.
This reminds me too, just real quick before we move on. I do want to cover. There's an Antibot video. I think that's her name, right? The Antibot. She's the wife of genetically modified Skeptic. Anyway, she did a video about the switch with the switch with MLM that all these YouTubers are doing. They're like, oh, switch with Cap and switch with, you know, whatever, all the other guys. She like broke it down and actually like tried to go like followed through and did the Zoom meetings and all that type of stuff and saw what it was. It's an MLM. But anyway, we're going to cover that at some point coming up soon, because I know I don't usually cover stuff like that, so I kind of wanted to throw it out there earlier and let y'all know and let me know what you think. But I kind of want to cover that Antibot video so that we can kind of like dive in, because we were seeing that so frequently that every video I'd cover like this, they'd be like, oh, and you got to get away from buying those satanic products from Target or whatever the fuck, and so they're like, switch with, and then it's it's an MLM anyway. But yeah, so we're gonna watch that next time. I don't know why I'm just giving you an advertisement, I guess, for it.
What the Bible says. Now, let me show you one more thing first. So, like I said, he is
the anti-bot. Thank you. Yeah, she's great. I actually like her a lot, and she dresses cool. I like the way she dresses.
He was born in 1983. His dad is Egyptian. His mom is American. He grew up in the States. He went to Indiana University, Purdue University, was doing religious studies. And he made these weirdo documentaries about the Antichrist, right?
Okay. I mean, do you really, you cried at a Trump speech, dude. You don't get to call anybody weirdo, all right?
Share my screen with you.
You don't have to announce every time you share the screen, man. You can just do it.
Produce these, all right? And I just want you to just kind of take a look here.
It's like one of those people that has to like announce everything they're doing. Whenever like it makes them feel like more, if there's like a janitor in the room or something, and like, okay, where did I leave those papers? Okay, no, I put my book over here. How's it going? No, it's good to see. Anyway, I'm just doing this stuff. Anyway, where did I put that book? And you're like, oh my God, you don't have to announce everything that you're doing. Okay. I'm just in here dumping the trash. It's not a big deal. Okay. You can just not talk to yourself while I'm in here. This is fucking weird.
All right. Talking about the Antichrist will be a reptilian, shape shifter. So he's got all these weird...
I love it. Shape shifters. Yeah, there's reptilian shape shifting stuff, dude. I remember when I first learned. What's up, Wolfos? How you doing, man? I remember when I first learned about the reptilian humanoid thing. I seriously was like, it almost felt like it was the birds aren't real kind of thing, where it was like so obvious that somebody just made this up just to mess with people, right? And then it caught on by accident. They're like, are you serious? That was a joke, man. That was a 4chan joke. And now everybody's, oh my God, people are stupid. People are really dumb. Okay. Obviously, that was just a glitch like on the video camera, and the eyes just got kind of weird for a second. Anyway, geez.
Weird, videos. So you got the Illuminati logo, all that kind of stuff.
The
right?
Illuminati logo. The logo for the Illuminati.
Right. And so
it's trademarked. They got their own thing. Jesus Christ.
These videos are from like 15 years ago, I think. All right. But let's play the video that got everybody in a big old, stir, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm gonna
big old stir. That's what I was talking about. And I think that's the video. Let's see. Hold on. I think that's the one that we just watched that one. All right, y'all. Well, here, we'll do one more ad, and then I'm going to wrap her up for the day. But thank y'all so much for hanging out. Really do appreciate y'all chilling. But we're going to go ahead and take an ad break, and then I will be biting my fingernails for the next 2 minutes. And then hopefully I can, I don't know if like some of y'all are exempt. Are some of y'all exempt from the ads? Could be. Like, I guess if you pay the YouTube money, like I pay YouTube so that I don't have ads, right? So I guess if y'all are like that, did they use Canva? They should if they didn't, because Canva is phenomenal. I actually really like their stuff. You know what I just figured out? You can actually outline your like face when you put your face on it. They call it shadow. That outline around people's heads that they put on all the really cool, like the big timer videos. Yeah, you can do that on Canva. I didn't know that. You got to go to FX and then go to shadow. It's a whole thing. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, see, Giselle. Okay, good. So y'all can still see if you got premium. I do too. So I don't have what? Oh no, the Illuma movies. Well, that was okay, sure. So I love it when we can agree on stuff. You know what I mean? Like even Rich is like, the shape-shifting lizard people. So that's a bit too far. That's a bridge. That's a bit too far. I don't know. I kind of think the people that think that stuff is true are wrong. I actually, I'm going to go out on a limb. The reptilian lizard people, probably not accurate about the stuff they think. It's like them and the flat earthers just hanging out together. The only ones left in the room. Jesus. Oh, okay. Wait, did you do this one?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الواحد القهار.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the one that we watched. Anyway, let's see. SoCal, like you said. I have this YouTube with my channel and then a personal one my kids use, which has premium. I don't think they do ads during live streams, only when you join. They have an ad. Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I pay for the one so that I don't have it. Because otherwise, look, the reason I do that is because otherwise we would be sitting here watching a bunch of ads every single time that I clicked play or whatever, like every couple of seconds, it would be putting in ads. And I was like, I can't, I can't have people be watching their ads through my channel. That's ridiculous. I'm going to have to pay the $6 or whatever the hell it was to not have that. But anyway, all right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out. And, if you want to play with stuff, hanging out of yourselves, go to adamandeve.com, adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Also, if you want to hit that like button, I'd appreciate that. Anything there helps. If you want to subscribe, if you enjoy this kind of content, appreciate that too. But back to the ad though, go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. It's BRENTLY at checkout, and you get 50% off almost any one item. The only item that I'm aware of that you don't get is this giant swing thing that I don't even know. Anyway, it's massive. It takes up a whole room. I don't even know where you can put. Anyway, but you gotta have a dungeon or something to fit that in there. Anyway, but yeah, that's the only thing pretty much. Everything else you can get at least the one item for 50% off. But then you get free shipping. You get this bunch of free items. It's awesome. You got to do it. Just get the stuff for your butt. Your butt wants it. It's gonna thank you personally afterwards. Or as you're using it, actually, it'll personally thank you while you're using it on your butt. But anyway, go to adamandeve.com, do that whole thing. But, and if you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you can do a bunch of other stuff, right? If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/monkapostate. Excuse me. You can do a one-time payment on Cash App, and the cash tag is Apostate. You can become a member, hit that join button, and then you get access to a bunch of extra. You get a bunch of extra live streams, stuff like that, because a lot of these will go straight to members as soon as they're done being live. And so if you're a member, you get access to all that stuff. Plus, you get access to videos that are made just for members, as well as live streams that are made just for members, as well as videos that are made for everybody, but the members get them early. So you get a whole bunch of stuff, right? So yeah, go become a member. It's worth it, I promise. Also, if you want to hit me up and just give me an email or whatever, just let me know if I mess anything up or if I make any mistakes or, just whatever. If you just want to tell me something, that's cool. So let me know your deconversion story, stuff like that. I love hearing that. Punkapostate@gmail.com. Also, join the Discord. We got a lot of stuff going on in there at all times, pretty much. I think that the mods had put it into the chat quite a few times, if I'm not mistaken. And but yeah, and check out all my socials. I got all the links to all my socials are all below. Check them out. It's a lot of fun. But hey, the main thing is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.